If you do not end this now, you will be responsible for the next Kermit Gosnell. My name is Kristin Turner. I am the Executive Director of Pro-Life San Francisco and a progressive, secular youth organizer. Today, I am speaking on behalf of the health and safety of unborn children within the UC system. The institutions you represent participate in some of the cruelest experiments against children and animals alike. UCSF has publicly admitted to regularly disarticulating children as developed as 6-month-old in elective procedures. Disarticulation meaning ripping the arms and legs off before crushing their skull. Then their body is used for horrific, publicly funded research projects despite the fact that ethical alternatives exist. Their very humanity of these children is what makes them valuable research subjects. The most up-to-date research on fetal pain by both pro- and anti-abortion researchers confirms that children at these ages can feel pain. Children targeted for fetal tissue procurement at UCSF cannot be euthanized, as the lethal injection digoxin ruins the stem cells, therefore making them unusable for the research projects UCSF is conducting. 2 days ago, I stood face-to-face with Eleanor Dry, the director of the abortion centers on UCSF's campuses, and she had absolutely nothing to say to me. If you have any doubts about how committed I am to ending this injustice, I sat on the floor of that facility holding roses as a sign of peace until I was dragged away by the police in handcuffs. Pro-Life San Francisco will not stop until you end dismemberment and implement ethical research practices. If you do not end this now, you will be responsible for the next Kermit Gosnell.
My name is Samantha Cannon, and I traveled to Illinois to speak with Pro-Life San Francisco here today about UCSF's unethical fetal tissue research practices. Fetal experimentation uses the body parts of preborn children for research purposes. Depriving innocent human beings of their right to life and basic dignity is already an egregious moral wrong. But there are other reasons why UCSF's fetal experimentation practices need to be subject to scrutiny. These experiments rely on a monthly supply of late-term human fetuses from elective abortions. This means those who wrote the study designs or are otherwise involved in the experiments have an interest in the continued practice of abortion. UCSF also conducts late-term abortions in 2 ways: live dismemberment and labor induction. Medically induced abortions can result in born-alive infants up to half the time. According to the Society of Family Planning, up to 50% of labor induction abortions without digoxin can result in born-alive infants late in pregnancy. UCSF staff members have admitted there are times where they do not use digoxin as it damages the aborted tissues that would be used for research purposes. This horrific exploitation of preborn children has been allowed to continue due to lack of accountability and persistence in using antiquated scientific practices to discriminate against vulnerable human beings when ethical alternatives are available. UCSF's abortion facilities need to be investigated, and measures must be implemented by you for transparency and to prevent mistreatment of children. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Victoria Schneider. I'm a pediatrician who is proud to have trained here at UCSF. During one of my rotations in the intensive care nursery in 1985, I worked under the supervision of a brand new neonatology fellow, Dr. Sam Hawgood. Dr. Hawgood impressed me tremendously during that time for the impressive care that he took of some of the smallest and most fragile premature infants. Let's fast forward to today, where UCSF's Women's Options Center prides itself on training doctors on methods to end a premature infant's life while still in the womb, including late-term abortions when many babies could survive outside the womb. Dr. Hawgood took care of many such babies back in the 80s. The only difference between what is going on now and going into the nursery now and choosing to end an infant's life who's already alive and being taken care of in the nursery is that what's being done now is being done in the dark, in utero, instead of under the bright lights of the nursery. There is a massive disconnect that here in medicine, we're here to help people survive, but UCSF has gone so far down the road of science that the ending of these lives is justified. It is time to stop these practices at UCSF. Thank you.
Did Avery or Robert want to speak?
Hello, Board of Regents. My name is Robert Byrd. I'm a San Francisco native, born and raised here in this beautiful city. And I'm here to talk alongside Vicki and Kristin Turner and the others about the egregious practice of aborted fetal tissue research in your universities, particularly here in my own backyard. So here at UCSF, abortion-minded people as far along as 6 months in their pregnancy, to be specific, 24 weeks LMP, are handed a consent form by UCSF which proclaims that following through with their abortion decision provides a societal benefit. Keep in mind, the abortion procedure has not taken place yet. that prenatal child is still alive in utero. And if anyone objects to my use of the word child, I'll point you to the fields of maternal fetal medicine and fetal surgery. The relationship is described in terms of parent and offspring, and the word babies is constantly mentioned, even on UCSF's websites on those subjects. Those children are targeted for their organs when they're still alive before the appointment. This partnership between research labs and abortion facilities result in tissue collectors on hand outside the operating room, ready and waiting for the abortion to commence and be completed. This is gruesome, this is egregious, and your policies overseeing UCSF medical centers must be changed to prevent this egregious legal activity, as well as keep in mind the opportunity and motive for criminal activity to take place as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Again, thank you to the speaker, for the various speakers for your comments. At this meeting of the Regents, we do listen to all of the comments very closely. Thank you. Before I begin,